Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Object 263, otherwise known as the YOLO Wagon, or as my friend calls it, the Dump Truck. This is one of the most unique and fun tank destroyers in Tier 10. It's got an insanely powerful gun with 3,856 DPM, which is tied for the most with the Badger. It's got dispersion that's okay, 0.353, a pretty poor aiming time at almost 4 seconds, but what makes up for that is the very nice alpha of 460 and the penetration of 300 on the AP, which has been buffed over the years. Mobility-wise, the tank is also fairly fast at a top speed of 50, a reverse of 20, and a traverse of 52 degrees a second. The Object 263 is just an all-round amazing vehicle. It's probably one of the most painful tank destroyer lines to grind up because you have to grind from the SU-100 M1 to the SU-101 and then the SU-120-254. And while all of those tanks can be amazing, they also require a decent chunk of skill to do very well in. So I can imagine some of those tanks that only have like 3 or 2 degrees of gun depression is not going to be enjoyable for the general public to play in, which is why this is probably one of the least popular tank destroyers in Tier 10. To be fair, it's not nearly as unpopular as the WZ-113 GFT, but it's still up there. Now, on a map like Mayan, I have to decide where I'm going to go ahead of time. Obviously, I have the mobility to reposition, but it's more the fact that this tank is not great on gun depression. I mean, it's only got 4 degrees, which means if you put it in a spot that requires gun depression, you're going to regret it. So, they have a Badger, which is obviously a great tank when it comes to versatility and gun depression. They also have a Leopard 1, a Standard B, 54E1. I'm actually going to go with the mediums here. I had 2 options. It was either go to that flat spot at mid or go to the medium side. But I feel like going to the medium side and going low might actually be a decent opportunity. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go right here and get a big old bump into the T-54E1. He does get 1 shell into me, but it shouldn't matter all too much as we get a second pen into his vehicle. With that, he's already lost 900 hit points. Unfortunately, this M60 is kind of getting in everybody's way here. Now we got the 4005 off to the side, who is going to pen me once, and he's going to shoot one of my teammates once. I'm just going to wiggle here. 4005 is going to get shot again. And, well, I don't think this 4005 thought his decision very well because he's dead now. I kind of figured that was going to happen to him, to be completely honest. I just knew that nothing could go well from a 4005 YOLOing. We do have the KPZ. We got bounces from both of these guys, which means I can just kind of send this, hopefully. Let's see. I'm going to go for the KPZ right now, and let's just go over. What? Okay, thank you, Wargaming. I appreciate the wonderful luck I have. What am I going to do here? Well, KPZ is going to try and cross, and we get a nice little slapper into his turret. We don't have a lot of health left, so I obviously want to be a bit cautious here. But the 92E1's actually been doing a pretty good job just distracting and getting his shells in. So while he's doing that, there's the 268, and we also got the Standard B off to the side. So I don't want to be shot by either of these guys, but I also want to keep them off. The Badger is dead, which is perfect. So let's see. I'm going to sit... Standard B's running, it looks like, which is actually really good. Alright, well, if that's the case, I'm just going to try and YOLO this 268 a bit and get some shells in. Oh, come on, 268s, come over here. You cannot escape me. You will run into the mighty gun of the 263 and get pooped on. Whoa! Bonk! There you go. A bit of a low roll, but I'll still take it. 300 damage is not too bad. The 268 is still running. There's another nice slap, and that's a high roll, so I'll take it. And now what we're going to do is the old rammy. Oh yeah, beautiful. And this is just going to not allow the 268 to hit me ever. My T92 is going to be able to hopefully get a farm here. I'm just going to make sure that this 268 cannot shoot me. Yes! Beautiful! Bonk! Nice. He gave up after realizing that was not going to happen. And with that, we're up to 3,400 already. So this is what the 263 does. Even on a map where it is very hilly and it requires a lot of gun depression on medium side, we were still able to take advantage of the situation we were stuck in and come out with a victory. Now, obviously, it does take a bit of skill to do that, and if you struggle with this type of tank, you definitely need to pay a lot of attention to where you're driving, how the gun depression is going to work. You'll always notice I'm trying to wedge my tank on a hill or a bit of a slope to increase my gun depression artificially, and the way that works is, let's say this is my phone, right? Well, it is my phone, but this is flat ground, okay? And if my tank is on flat ground, then the most gun depression I can get is on flat. But if the gun depression, if the terrain is like this, then that means if I'm on this ground, it means I'll get more gun depression just from the hill, and then I can angle it downward even more. And if it's also slanted like this, then that means if I slant the tank on that gun depression, I can still aim down on that slant it has. So that's kind of a cool way to work gun depression. It's definitely something you can do. Now this map, I can't do that at all. Canyon Hill is one of the worst maps for a 263 because of the way the gun depression works on this map. So, I guess we'll see how that works out. I'm going to be driving straight, directly towards mid. Or not mid, but the middle part on this far corner of the map here. Because it allows me to work hull down. And, well, as hull down as this tank can get is really the best description here. But I'm going to wait at this bush for now. Just because I don't trust how this is going to work while I don't have a lot of support here. So we're just going to wait here. If anybody crosses the mid-ridge, they will be shot. And we'll see if anybody gets spotted crossing as well. We should be able to detect somebody through that little crack there. And yeah, there we go. STB pokes. Unfortunately, it does miss the STB. But with that, it also seems like we can see the enemy Yo off to the other side of the map, which gives me the inclination that the majority of their team is over there and not over here. And I would say that is fairly correct, as the E3 and just about everybody else has been spotted on that side. Okay, well, let's see if we can get some shells into the T110 E3. I'm going to aim it on his lower plate, and fire! Oh wow, that shell went literally a mile away from where I wanted it to go. I can't really pin him anywhere else but that lower plate. Wow! Come on, 263, what the heck are you doing here? Alright, I'm going to give it one more shot, and then I'm going to back up, because we are spotted. Okay. Well, thank you, game. I don't know what else to say. Just thank you for my sadness. Thank you. Alright, let's see. So the STB is obviously going to try and poke me hull down, and we're going to miss him. This is kind of what he just went. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for gaming. I appreciate how logic and armor make sense. It clearly doesn't, but I appreciate it. Let's see if we can send the 268 over here. I'm probably going to be penned by him. I am, but that shouldn't stop me from being able to get a pretty nice chunk of damage off. There you go. Another nice shot. And I'm under the idea that I will out-reload him. I might be wrong, but I'm under the impression that I will, and I was correct. There you go. That is what the 263 does very well, is out-reloads its opponents and just punishes them for kind of existing. Alright, so let's see. We got the E3 showing me his side, it looks like. So let's go for... Oh my god, gun! Oh, I'm getting angry. Oh, okay. Alright. We got the full side of the E3. There you go. Look at that, guys. We penned a shell. Oh, I'm so proud. All right, let's try one more. Oh, that would have penned as well. Oh, big sag. All right, hopefully we're not spotted here. It doesn't look like we are. STB lost almost all of his health, and it doesn't look like this Yo really wants to poke this anymore. But if he does, he's going to lose a lot of health for it. So I'll just wait for him to poke it. Here he goes. Ooh, he was close, but it looks like he's being YOLO'd, as they don't really have anything left. Okay, well, at this point, I don't think it really matters all too much. I'm just going to try and pen the C3. Aiming, and fire! There you go. Finally, a pen across the map. We're going to try one more. Aiming and fire. Yes! There you go. Finally, this gun decided to work with me. Alright, not an incredibly good battle. As I said, a tank like the Object 263 on a map on Canyon is one of the worst maps to play, especially when you're up against all hull-down vehicles like the STB-1, like the M6O, and you're trying to shoot an E3 across the map. So it made sense why we didn't do amazing, but to be fair, we still did top on the team, 2,700 damage. I can't complain. We did fine. It was just a bit of an irritating battle watching all of those shells that were aimed at the E3 miss because of the poor dispersion over a very long distance. overall, I really like the 263. It definitely has downsides, and as you've seen on a lot of maps, those downsides can become very prevalent. But if you understand how to use the tank, how to play it, it can be great. I mean, you didn't get to see me drive it on any flat maps or any of the more town-based maps, but that is when this tank comes into its own element. I really like the 263. It's a great vehicle, and I think it's still one of the better tier 10s. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.